Islam, 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 Islam. Islam, Islam. Greetings, man. Peace. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Uh, it's a lot going on. Quite sure you guys know it's a lot going on. Now, before I go any further, I want you guys to know that uh, my personal beef that I have has nothing to do with the Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay? So don't start busting shots at the temple. Don't start busting shots at the nation. This is me. This is what I'm this is how this is my these are my concerns. And you guys already know that I'm all about love, truth, peace. I've been around for some time now. Uh, I've witnessed a lot of things. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. And y'all already know I come in peace. I always come in peace. Always. But we're starting to notice this big time shift that's going on. Uh, you know how Trump is carrying it. We know how these supremacy movements, we know how they're carrying it. Uh, I'm not going to get into white, black. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to get into these supremacy movements. And we know how they're carrying it. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned. Uh, a lot is being thrown at us. And you guys know that I am spiritual. I am humble. I am respectful. Uh, Regardless of what I've been through being a melanated person, American, 1828 Webster's Dictionary says what? Copper color races found here by the Europeans, right? So I got 5 decades in, man. 5 decades. And I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. It almost feels like to me that the powers to be, they know who I am. They know my DNA. They know it. I feel like they know it because I've been targeted my whole life. My whole life I've been targeted. Come out the womb, I've been targeted to fail, to get chased after, ran down on, hunted, vanquished, subdued, doom diversus. Do the knowledge on doom diversus. Yeah, so I've been through that my entire life, right? When I started to notice it, um, I was attending high school. I went to Baltimore School for the Performing Arts. That's the high school that I went to. You know, you have to audition to get into the school. When I was in middle school, I was a trumpet player, right? I was a first seat trumpet player from I'm gonna say the sixth, seventh, and eighth grade in middle school, and I was above average. I was above average. So, I'm not trying to, I was great and all this. No, I was above average. So I was a first seat trumpet player. Sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. My academics, I was about a 3.0 academically wise, right? And I played little league sports. I played little league football. I played little league basketball. I played little league baseball. And I also swam also. I was in the Junior Olympics when I was 12 years old, right? So, blessings that I've everything that I have been involved in, I've always been above average. So, I was pretty good at sports. I was pretty good at music. I was pretty good at academics. I was pretty good at pretty much everything I did. So, uh, my parents and I, we were trying to figure out after I graduated from middle school, we were trying to figure out if I was going to go to high school to play sports or if I was going to go to high school for music. So, we were kind of teeter-tottering. We didn't really, we were trying to figure it out, you know. So we decided that I go to school for music. So I auditioned to go to Baltimore School for the Performing Arts. Okay. Um, Make a long story short, I made the cut and I attended the school my ninth grade year, right? I was 14, right? So I went into the school, and upon entry into school, I noticed that I'm gonna say, whew, probably 90%, probably 90% of the students that attended the school were Caucasian. Okay, they were Caucasians, and I'm gonna say 85% of them were well-to-do. They were born. They were born with silver spoons in their mouths. So they had big bread. I'm talking about pulling up in front of the school in limos, you know, uh, uh, driving, very expensive vehicles, and you know, um, they had everything. They had everything. They had big money, you know. They wore nice things. They wore nice jewelry, and they were well to do, right? Me, on the other hand, I grew up pretty much in the projects. It was a small project building, right? Um, Shouts to my mom. She worked hard to give us the things that we needed, and she provided for us pretty good, right? So she did the best she could do, right? For me and my brother that was 2 years younger than me, right? Um, she did her best. So I had to come up with a trumpet. I had to come up with my own trumpet, because when you go into a school like this, when you go into a performing arts school, you have to, upon entry, you have to come with your own instrument. You have to have your own instrument. Like when I was in middle school, uh, they provided an instrument for you. Even at like regular high schools, they provide the instrument for you. But when you go to a school, a performing arts school like Baltimore School for the Performing Arts, you have to, upon entry, you have to have your own trumpet. So my mom and my dad scraped up the money, $3,500 for a silver Vincent Bach trumpet with a trigger key. It had a trigger key on it, where the valves would slide. Excuse me. So this was $3,500, and then my mom had to make sure that I had clothes, make sure that I ate, make sure that I had traveling money to get back and forth to school. Excuse me. Blah, blah, blah. So my mom and my dad made sure, my dad chimed in. Shouts to my dad. He chimed in also and helped. My mom, my dad, they didn't have no whole bunch of money. You know, they ain't have no. I grew up in a single family home. Yeah, my dad chimed in, but my dad didn't have a whole lot of money. My mom didn't have a whole lot of money. But this was a passion. This was a dream of mine that my parents were supporting, right? And they knew that I loved music, still do love music, right? And they knew I loved my trumpet. When I was in middle school, I used to stand up in 12, 13 years old. I used to stand up and play solos with the band. The whole auditorium would be dark and the spotlight would be on me, 12, 13 years old. So this was a passion that I really loved. I also played the drums as well. We had a few songs where I would put my trumpet down and I would go over to the drum set and I would play drums. I mean, like real drums. So nowadays, I know that sounds kind of weird because you got your drum machines, you got your samplers, and that's what pretty much everybody used today. But back in the mid 80s, nah man, drumsticks and a 5-piece drum set with cymbals and a hi-hat, right? So that's what I'm used to, right? Um, the way music is nowadays, you pretty much can produce a whole album with a mouse. You can use a mouse to come up with the production and everything, mixing, everything you can do on your laptop with a mouse. You know what I mean? It's nothing. But I come from that real essence of music, where you had to really have it. You had to really have it in your heart. You had to really have it in your soul to be above average. Okay? So I get down to the school. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Uh, Everybody that is a part of the band, you also have a one-on-one uh, private instructor from the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. So My instructor, his name was Langston Fitzgerald. Shouts to Mr. Fitzgerald. Love you. I haven't seen him. I haven't talked to him um, in years. I hope he's well. You know, I'm sending love, honors, and respect to him. Because that brother, he was a brother. This brother taught me how to really play a trumpet. I'm talking about improvising, jazz, classical music, excuse me, the whole nine. I was pretty good. I was pretty good. So let's fast forward a little bit. So after I'm there for about a year and a half, um, I got into an altercation with one of the students there. He was a senior. I'm not gonna go into what the beef was about, but you know, pretty much he jumped out there. He jumped out there, right? But by him being in his circle and also a senior, he had a little bit more sway than I had, right? He was a senior and he was in other groups, other organizations, right? I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. But so he did something that he shouldn't have done, and we got into it like kids do. We got into it like kids do. Young, dumb. I wind up putting hands on him and feet on him. And don't get it twisted. He put hands and feet on me too. You know, we were fighting, kids. We were fighting, you know? So, make a long story short, fight's over. I get suspended for 3 days. I get 3 days suspension. Uh, After I was suspended for 2 days, my mom got a phone call from the school. And the school told my mom that I couldn't return back to school, that I was being removed from the school, couldn't go back no more. You know, when you are young, you melanated, uh, at the time, we were in the more science of America. Yes, at the time, yeah. See, because I've been through. My dad um has always reared us in uh knowledge of self. He's always my dad was very militant. My dad was very militant. He loved his people, you know, he loved himself, you know, and he made sure my dad grew up in the 60s. So, you know, the 60s, you know, we know how the 60s were. You know, my dad was a revolutionary, right? He was tied into the Panther Party, um, and pretty much he just wanted to make sure that his boys had knowledge of self. He wanted to make sure that his boys loved his people. I mean, loved our people, right? And don't hurt your people. Take care of your people. Support your people. Unity. that's how my dad raised us. That's how my dad raised us. And that's pretty much how we were. Right? That's pretty much how we were, and that's pretty much how we are today. Right? So as a kid, when I was born, I was born into the nation, right? And then when I turned about 10, we converted to more science. And when I was about maybe about 18, 19, we converted to Sunni, right? So, me myself, I've actually lived the life and been in these ways of living, right? I've actually studied them, lived it, ate it, drank it, pause. I've actually been a part of these organizations and actually lived the life. That's why I know how to speak Arabic. That's why I know some things, right? I've been around. And yeah. So that's pretty much how my dad raised us. When I was 14, 15 years old, man, I had knowledge of self. I had knowledge of self. But when you young, you still gonna have a little bit of gas on your chest. You still trying to, you know, with your fellas, us, man, that hung out at the, uh, um, yeah, this Tupac. I went to school with Tupac, um, Anthony Leonard, Kedrick Goff, Sean Stinnett, um, Zachary Parker, Ernest Shaw. You talk, we all, but yeah. So you know, I hung only guys in the school that were pretty much raised in the city. We were the only, and we all hung together, right? We didn't really hang with the well-to-do Caucasians, and we didn't hang with the L Jizzle Bizzle community. So if you know anything about the artses, if you know anything about the artses, right? In the artses, man, is probably about, I'm gonna say probably about 85% L Jizzle Bizzle, right? I'm not dragging nobody. I mean, you do what you do. It's just that that's not my thing. That's not my thing. I'm not into the L Jizzle Bizzle thing, right? Never have, never will be. Um, said I'm not dragging them, or I'm not saying nothing bad. I'm just saying I wasn't involved in that, right? So, in that 14, 15 years old, definitely wasn't it. See, like now, I'm a whole lot laid back now. But back then, when I was 14, 15 years old, oh man, no. No L Jizzle Bizzle, nothing. You hear me? So this guy that I got into the altercation with, he was L Jizzle Bizzled out. You hear me? I'm talking about walking, talking, everything. You hear me? So when he did what he did, I lost it. I lost it. And we had an altercation, right? So they decided to remove me from the school. They didn't remove him from the school. They removed me from the school. So now my music, that was it. That was it. That was it. You know, now that I'm 4 decades away from that, I didn't realize at that time what kind of an impact it was going to put on my spirit, on my soul. I didn't realize this was the beginning of a downhill tumble of dealing with supremacy at its finest. Because, yes, the dean in the school was a Caucasian, and all of the people that decided whether I stay or go, they were all Caucasians. They were all on the panel. So they all decided that I go. That impacted my life. That took my life down another fork in the road. Okay? So I told you that I also played sports. So I shrugged it off. I'm young. So I shrugged it off like whatever, you know, took my trumpet, put it to the side, a $3,500 trumpet, put it to the side, and I said, well, I'll play football. So I wound up going to Edmondson High School right off of Edmondson Avenue in Athol, Baltimore City, and I played sports there, right? And, you know, my life took, it was like I went back on the path that I was trying to get away from. See, because when I was in middle school, we were indulging in things that kids do, right? So I really wanted to get away from that stuff, right? So when I went to Baltimore School for the Performing Arts, it gave me a chance to do something different, right? And I liked it. You know what I mean? I liked it. I liked all of it, man. It was a different crowd, it was a different frequency, it was a different vibration, it was a different energy, it was a different quantum physics, man. It was different, you know. But, you know, when you're young, you don't really realize how it will impact your life. You don't realize that. But this was the beginning of me having the overstanding of dealing with racism. See, like I'm trying my best to give this to you guys, but not be disrespectful. But at the end of the day, why? Why should I put cut on what I'm trying to say? Because from what we see, they're not putting no cut on nothing that they do. They don't put no cut on it. Our president, he's going bananas right now. You hear me? He's going bananas, man. And trust me, I know, right? I've been through a lot. So let's go back a little bit more. So I graduated from high school. I went to college for a brief second and I got injured. So I lost my scholarship. I came home and my dad started a rebar company, a structural steel company. It was called Pambor Rebar Limited. Pambor Limited. My dad took the first initial out of his children's name and came up with this company name. So it was Paris, Al Jalil, Brian, Omar, Rashida. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Paris, Al Jalil, Mike, Brian, Omar, Rashida. Right? Shouts to my pop. Shouts to my sisters and my brothers. I love y'all. So I worked for my dad's company. After I lost my scholarship, got injured, and I lost my scholarship, I came home to work for my dad's company. Right? And that was a multi-million-dollar business. Okay. Well, after 9 years of my dad being in business, he had to file Chapter 11. Why? Racism, racism, racism. They ain't want no more. They didn't want no more owning no steel company in Baltimore. Nah, nah, nah. Trying to tell you, no. So, I used to talk to my dad about it all the time. Um, I would be in the field. Like I didn't get like my dad, he's different. My dad is militant. My dad was a Green Beret in the military. My dad it wasn't like when my dad took me on the job, he didn't say, "This is my son. Make sure y'all look out for him and have his back and all." No, 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 no. My dad said, "This is my son. He don't get no lookouts. He don't get no special perks and nothing like that. Pause. He don't get none of that. You feel me? I want foot in his ass the entire time he is here. I want you guys to make him into a iron worker." Straight up. So for the first year or two, I didn't even wear a tool belt. All I did was shook out rebar and carried rebar and gave it to the journeyman. Right? My first, second year as being an apprentice, man, all I did was shook out steel and carried steel and gave it to the journeyman. That's all I did for 2 years. Right? But when I was on the job, I used to always hear a bunch of little sidebar from the job rednecks, right? I used to hear a whole bunch of trash coming out their mouth. Trash coming out their mouth. Who the hell is this Nick? And yeah, he gonna bring his son down here. He think his son gonna work and all this, and I don't know how this black man own a company and ain't nobody worrying about this Nick. You know what I mean? So I'm hearing all of this while I'm at work. And man, when you young, when you're in your early 20s and you hear this disgusting, vile language from these things, right? These lower self things, right? That can do something to your spirit, man. That can do something to your spirit. You know, going to work every day, shaking out steel, picking up rebar when I know I can go to the block for real. I'm thinking to myself, I can go to the block for real with my other homeboys. But I'm like, no, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna stay here, work with dad, and dad set me up with this job, and maybe one day I could be, I'll be running the company myself. And I'm just, I'm working it out, man. I'm doing what I gotta do for the family business, for my dad's, family business, something that he loved, something that he cherished, something that he built for us so that we would have something, right? So I remember one time when the lip on the job had gotten so bad that when I got off work, I went to the office to talk to my dad. And I said, Dad, man, these redneck hillbilly shit for brain dirt bags keep talking greasy about the company and how they're gonna lay down on you, pause, they're gonna lay down on you so that your company can go bankrupt. And I'm fairly young, and my dad, he's trying to do what he's trying to do. You know, he got some people that he trusts that he really shouldn't trust, and he thinks that they got his back. I love you, Dad. I ain't talking greasy. I'm just giving the story. This is my life story, and it means something, especially what we're going through today, right? So after I had a discussion with my dad, he's like, "Nah, son, you stay in your place. I got this, and you get what you got it." So I'm like, "Okay, pop, you got respect." I've always respected my dad. I respect my parents. I respect my mom. I respect my dad. I've always done that. You know, um, it's just something that has always been ingrained in me. I've always done it. I've always respected my parents, my grandparents. I've always respected my elders, always. So my dad really wasn't feeling it. My dad wasn't feeling it. He was like, son, I got this. Well, make a long story short, some time went by, and my dad wound up going bankrupt. My dad wound up going Chapter 11. Because why? The guys laid down on him. The guys laid down. They literally, I heard these guys at work literally plotting on how they were going to bring my dad down. And every time I tried to, have a respectful conversation with my dad, he always felt like he got it. So the last check bounced. Everybody's check bounced. I went to the office. The office doors were chained up. I called my dad, and he was highly upset. My dad was highly upset. So, look, man, I'm trying to get this story to y'all. We all know that, you know, very spiritual person. You know, y'all know what we do. We uplift fallen humanity. I'm very peaceful. I'm very peaceful, and I'm very humble. But I feel like I want to give you guys this story uncut. I'm still got some cut though, but I don't want to be too disrespectful because I want you guys to see this video, okay? Because I'm going somewhere with this. You know, 4 decades of living my life and going through this with this supremacy thing and racism and you know, growing up in Baltimore and having to deal with, you know, racism at its finest. I'm talking about at its finest, gods and goddesses. You hear me? At its finest. So my dad's company went Chapter 11. He went bankrupt. Okay. So now I'm around the way hanging with the fellas. All right. As I'm dealing with this, I had to deal with racist cops. I had to deal with racist cops that would literally put drugs and guns on us. And you check the records. It's 2 task force out of Baltimore right now that both of the task force are incarcerated for doing these things to guys in our zone, because they, you know, undercover agents, they have a certain zone that they work in. So, you know, they used to always, man, harass us, man. Always. Put stuff on us, you know, give us fake charges, you know, give us charges, you know, that when you go to court, they don't stick. You know what I mean? You know, my background, man, I would say I probably got about 15 arrests, but I only got maybe 3 convictions. Yeah, only 3 of them actually stick because of the racist judicial system, racist cops, the whole racist agenda. I've been through it, man. I've been through it. Then working jobs. That's another situation where, like I said, since I was a kid, everything I did, I was always above average. Everything I did, I was always above average, including work. So when I'm at work, I work hard, I work fast, I'm smart, you know. So in turn, I would get kickback from the Caucasians at work. So now I'm getting written up and I'm having disciplinary problems behind stuff that I'm not even doing. Yeah. Um, a couple of times I should have been given a supervisor, a manager, or a foreman's position, but I wouldn't get it because I'm a Moor. And because they are Caucasian. So I can go on and on and on and on and on. So let me move forward a little bit more. So a couple years later, I get a job with I don't even want to say the company name, man, because we got some legal stuff going on with them right now. Um, I'm not gonna say the company's name right now, even though my lawyer said that we can talk about it now, but I don't really want to do it. But so I got a case going on right now with that about discrimination and racism with uh one of the companies cool. All, all behind racism. It's black story with that. That we know that, that I'm getting too deep for and I ain't even really going there just yet. I ain't messing with the computer now yet. So with the biggest company on the East Coast, one of the biggest companies on the East Coast, right? Discrimination and racism. Discrimination and racism. I've been going through this shit for a long time, man. A very long time. And I'm sick of it. I'm I'm sick of it. So, all right. So now but you stream when you start talking more, continue. Okay, I'm going to continue, right? I'm going to continue. My bad, y'all. Y'all know when we start talking real, StreamYard will shut you off. We know this. So let's fast forward. Now you got your boy Trump. Okay, he doing the shit that he's doing right now, right? I'ma say it ain't no big deal to me. I'm used to it. Ain't no big deal to me. I'm used to it. I don't even watch the news. But every once in a while, I tap in different channels, right? And pretty much, your boy Trump, man, he's Trump and the government, the powers that be, whatever, man, the Democrats, the Republican, man, whatever, all that shit the same, man. They 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 try and do what they trying to do, but we know it's not gonna work. We know it's not gonna work. But it's just tripping me out that they even trying to do this shit when it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So all I'm gonna say is y'all be on point and keep living your life and don't let the media control you. Don't let the media sway you in a different direction where you're starting to feel fear, you starting to feel depressed or discomfort or whatever. That's the whole purpose. That's what they're trying to do, right? That's what media do. Media puts out fake news, fake information to try to manipulate our nervous system, right? We know this in the conscious community, right? I done did videos on this stuff, man, right? I even recently, uh, I had some back pain. I had some lower back pain, and I had a doctor prescribe me some medication that I didn't know what it was. And that's kind of my fault because I should have done the homework on it, but I was in so much pain. I did some homework on it. I should have dug a little deeper, but I feel like that was another plot, another racist plot that they be trying to put on us. But see, me, I'm too strong for all that, man. And I'm too spiritually connected to let something like that happen to me. It might have did what it was supposed to do briefly for a minute, but you best believe I got away from it. Quick, quick, fast, in a hurry. Yes, 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 I did. So I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm tired of the disrespect. Now you got this guy, Michael Rapaport. Again, y'all. Yeah. So you got this guy, Michael Rapaport. He goes in on Candace Owens. Now, I'm not going to say that we already know we already know what side of the fence she on. But that ain't even the point. The point is what makes him feel like it's cool for him to go on media and call this Moore sister a bitch on television. What makes him think that it's cool for him to do that? What makes him think it's cool for him to do that? And then what really tripped me out was nobody addressed them. Nobody addressed it. You got all these big dogs, 50 Cent, Cam, you know, all these, all these podcasters. Did anybody say anything about it? Did anybody approach it at all? Y'all just let this Slavic run his mouth and call y'all a trip, man. Y'all a trip. So I just can't believe that this guy Michael Rapaport thought it was cool to call his sister a I can't believe that y'all let this guy Michael Rapaport call his sister a whole bunch of bitches on TV, on his podcast, or what the fuck he doing, and ain't nobody addressed that shit. None of you big Dougs, none of you big channels, none of you big podcasters, none of y'all ain't say shit about this, bro. I don't understand it, bro. How long is you niggas gonna keep on being whores around here, man? How long is y'all, when is y'all gonna stand up for something? It take a small me had to it take a small channel like my channel to have to say something. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen.
Trying to pretend that Charlie is maddening, but I know that God never gives any person more than they can handle, and I can handle it. And I am handling it.
This is a con artist. Why do you people keep going back to the well of Candace Owens?
Just by thinking about it. Meat base for.
Imagine bringing your side project for.
The has not delivered. She's always like, I got receipts. Where are the receipts? What makes you happy, Candace Owens? You're a mother of. Less than a week. You're a groupie. Let's not forget, just a few weeks ago, kooky Candace Owens. Kooky Candace Owens. Miserable Candace Owens. Rotten. Candace Owens interviewed Harvey Weinstein, and her big reveal. Her big reveal was nothing. You don't deliver on anything. She's like, I got receipts on Charlie Kirk. I got receipts on Israel, and the Mossad. And they had to, where are the receipts? You never deliver the receipts. You get people watching and you don't deliver. It's Geraldo Rivera opening Al Capone's vault time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. You never deliver. Now you got yourself in a big pile of shit with Macron and his wife. I hope they sue you, bitch. Where are the receipts, bitch? You miserable dog. I'll tell you something. The Mossad, Israel, Charlie Kirk wasn't on the list. There's way more important fish to fry than Charlie Kirk. You were chasing after Kanye. What happened with you and Kanye? What happened with you and Kanye, Candace? What really happened with you and Kanye West? There's allegations. People are saying, I can't confirm or deny. Me personally, I have no proof. I can't believe that you would do so because you're a Christian, right? You're a Christian, right, Candace? You're such a devout Christian. You don't act like a Christian. Are you a Christian? Are you? See, no. Christian and Name only.
Fair use to Hassan Campbell. Hey Haas, man, no disrespect, bro. I couldn't find the video, man. I couldn't find it. But you know, I just, man, he called this sister a dog. He called the listen, now listen. I'm not defending in her whatever. Okay? That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is why is it cool go, you know, cause a bitch? Why does he think it's cool to call a sister hog? And why does nobody mean you are this comfortable that you can go to a channel and talk about a sister like that and then don't get no kickback? Well, you're gonna get kicked back from me. God, you need to chill, Michael Rapaport, big podcasters, and all these guys with all these big numbers and all this. They not saying nothing, but I'm saying something. I'm letting you know, Doug, that shit is not cool for you to go on your podcast and, and call that sister a whole bunch of Trump got y'all heads fucked up that bad. Trump got y'all heads fucked up that. Yeah, you know it's buffering. You know it's gonna buff. Right. The whole time I was doing, yeah, it's probably ready to shut up. That's how StreamYard do. But I should have just recorded it a different way. But I wanted the screen share, so I put it on StreamYard. Right? But we'll find out. Like I said, that shit, Michael Rapple thinking that is cool to come out your mouth, out your Slavic chatting, you bitch. You, I'm gonna tell you now, ain't going for it. Ain't talking to your vein neither. I'm talking about. I'm talking about, and you feel, I don't care about none of that shit. But respect gets respect. And if you ain't got no respect, then you get disrespected. Straight up. The buck stops here. The buck stops now, duh. My enough is enough. My children, listen, man. I ain't worrying about all that. What I'm worrying about is setting my work down. Children don't have to all this trash ass hatred, racist shit. Yeah, I already knew they was gonna try to start cutting me off. I already knew that. But Michael Rapaport, like I said, man, you are the bitch. You are the clown. You are the whore. Baltimore, we say whore. That mean you a bitch. No, you the bitch. You mean tell me that y'all are that comfortable where you think you're gonna blast a sister? You think a brother not gonna pull you up about that shit? Michael Rapaport, I'm looking at you. No, you are the bitch. The buck stops here, and the buck stops now, man. Whatever y'all plotting on, the buck stops here, and the buck stops now. And if you got problems, all you do is get with me. I think we round about the same age. I think we round about the same age. Don't be scared, cause I ain't scared, bro. For my sons, yeah, I go to war with you. For my sons, I go. So I'm gonna get out of here, man, cause they keep trying to shut me off. But you know, yeah, stream y'all keep trying to shut me off. Like I said, Michael Rapaport, you are the bitch. And for my seeds, the buck stops here, the buck stops now. No. And like I said, don't trip. And don't bring the MST of A in this. They don't have nothing to do with that. But this is me. This is God Body 720. Letting you know that shit was not cool. And no. And yeah, you are the bitch, Doug. You are the bitch. Sick of you Slavics coming out y'all mouth stupid. I'm in Baltimore. That's it, man. I'm out of here. I love y'all. Y'all already know. Man, listen. For my people, the buck stops here and the buck stops now. God Body 720. Peace, man. I'm out.